Virgo Horoscope, June 5th, 2026, the truth you've been analyzing but haven't fully accepted. Virgo. You've been trying to solve a problem that isn't meant to be solved with logic, and today the universe is finally showing you why. For weeks, perhaps even months, you've been replaying something in your mind. A conversation, a relationship, a decision, a possibility, trying to understand every detail, trying to find the missing piece, trying to predict what happens next. But June 5th brings a realization that changes everything. Because the answer you've been searching for isn't hidden in more analysis, it's hidden in acceptance. And that's difficult for Virgo, because you are the sign that believes preparation prevents pain. Planning creates safety, logic creates control, but today, something emotional refuses to fit neatly into a logical explanation. Someone's behavior feels inconsistent. Someone's energy feels different, and deep down, your intuition already knows why. But that's not even the biggest message here, because a powerful shift involving success, recognition, and personal growth is beginning behind the scenes. The shocking part? The breakthrough you've been waiting for may arrive the moment you stop trying to force it. Stay until the end of this reading, because the final spiritual message reveals the lesson Virgo is finally learning after years of perfectionism, overthinking, and carrying responsibilities that never belonged to them. Today's energy reading. Virgo. Today's energy feels mentally intense but spiritually illuminating. Your mind is active, extremely active. You are noticing patterns, reviewing situations, connecting details, analyzing possibilities, and while this mental sharpness is one of your greatest gifts, today it can also become overwhelming. Because not every answer arrives through logic. Some answers arrive through intuition, and today your intuition is trying very hard to get your attention. You may notice unusual emotional reactions, a sudden feeling, a strange memory, an unexpected realization, or a strong instinct about someone that seems impossible to explain logically. Pay attention, because today's energy is revealing truths hidden beneath appearances. And Virgo, there's something this sign doesn't fully realize yet. You've outgrown a version of yourself, a version that constantly worried, constantly fixed, constantly carried responsibility for everyone else. And although part of you still operates from that mindset, your soul is ready for something different. Today also carries strong clarity energy. What felt confusing recently may begin making sense. Not because circumstances changed, because your perspective changed. And that shift becomes incredibly important later today. Today's personality deep dive. Virgo positive traits. Virgo possesses one of the most powerful minds in astrology. You see what others miss. You notice details, patterns, inconsistencies, opportunities, solutions, and that ability makes Virgo invaluable. People trust your judgment because you think carefully before acting. You rarely rush. You rarely gamble. You prefer preparation over chaos. Another hidden Virgo strength is service. You genuinely care about helping others improve their lives, not because you need attention. Because helping feels natural to you, you are dependable. Reliable, thoughtful, and many people rely on your stability more than they admit. You also possess extraordinary resilience. People often mistake your calmness for simplicity. But the truth is, you've survived many emotional battles privately and somehow kept moving forward. Virgo negative traits, but Virgo, your greatest strengths can become emotional traps. You overanalyze, you overprepare, you overthink. And sometimes you create stress by trying to control things that cannot be controlled. Another hidden weakness is perfectionism. You set impossible standards for yourself, then criticize yourself for failing to reach them. And honestly, you are often much harder on yourself than anyone else would ever be. There's also a tendency toward emotional suppression. Virgo often processes feelings intellectually instead of emotionally. You explain emotions, analyze emotions, understand emotions, but sometimes forget to simply feel them. Emotional profile, your deepest emotional trigger is failure. Not necessarily public failure, personal failure. Feeling like you disappointed someone. Feeling like you could have done better. Feeling like you missed something important. Another hidden wound, feeling appreciated only for what you do rather than who you are. Many Virgos spend years proving their value through effort, through service, through responsibility, through achievement. But today's energy is asking, what happens when Virgo realizes they are worthy even when they aren't fixing something? That realization changes everything. Today's love relationship, reading Virgo, your romantic energy today feels thoughtful, cautious, and emotionally revealing. Someone is paying closer attention to you than you realize. They notice your consistency, your intelligence, your reliability, the little things you do that most people overlook. And honestly, those qualities are becoming more attractive than you think. Why people fall for Virgo? People fall for Virgo because you make life feel stable. You notice details, you remember things. You care through actions rather than empty promises. Being loved by Virgo feels dependable, safe, genuine, and in today's world that is incredibly rare. Another reason people become attached to Virgo, your quiet depth. People often assume they understand you quickly, then discover there are layers they never expected. Relationship strengths Virgo is deeply loyal once trust is established. You communicate thoughtfully, you support your partner consistently, and when you genuinely love someone, you invest emotionally, even if you don't always express it dramatically. You also work hard to improve relationships, sometimes harder than anyone realizes. Relationship weaknesses, but here's the shadow side. Virgo can become overly critical. Not because you're trying to hurt anyone, because you're always looking for ways to improve things. Unfortunately, people don't always experience that as love. Another challenge is emotional caution. You protect your heart carefully, sometimes so carefully that opportunities for connection pass by. And there is another hidden pattern. Virgo may stay emotionally invested in relationships that require constant fixing because solving problems feels familiar. But healthy love isn't supposed to feel like a permanent repair project. Soulmate energy. There is soulmate growth energy around Virgo today, not necessarily dramatic romance, something deeper. A lesson about emotional reciprocity, a lesson about receiving instead of always giving, and the next message is even more important. Someone entering your future may appreciate you for who you are rather than what you do. That experience could change your entire understanding of love. Hidden truths. Virgo needs to hear what Virgo never tells anyone, is how exhausted they are. Not physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You carry responsibilities constantly. You think about future problems before they happen. You prepare for challenges nobody else even notices, and eventually that becomes exhausting. Another hidden truth? Virgo often worries in silence. People see competence, but rarely see the anxiety hidden beneath it. Here's another truth. Virgo avoids admitting you are afraid of making mistakes, not because mistakes are catastrophic, because you hold yourself to impossible standards, and those standards sometimes prevent you from enjoying your own life. Another hidden pattern? Virgo often believes rest must be earned, that productivity equals worth, that being useful equals being valuable, but that's simply not true. You deserve peace even when you're not performing. You deserve love even when you're imperfect. And honestly, that's one of the most important lessons Virgo can learn. This changes everything, because the next chapter of your life requires self-compassion, not self-criticism. Today's dark psychology analysis, Virgo possesses powerful psychological influence, not through charisma, not through dominance. Through observation, you see things. People's habits, behavior patterns, motivations, inconsistencies, and because you notice so much, people often underestimate how much you understand. Manipulation patterns. When emotionally hurt, Virgo may become emotionally distant, not dramatically, quietly. You stop sharing, stop explaining, stop investing energy, and that silence becomes a message. Another shadow pattern is overanalysis. Sometimes Virgo attempts to solve emotional pain like a mathematical equation, but emotions rarely operate logically. Jealousy patterns. Virgo becomes jealous through comparison. You wonder whether someone else is doing better, being appreciated more, receiving something you worked hard to earn. And although you rarely express it openly, those comparisons can become emotionally draining. Revenge tendencies. Virgo rarely seeks revenge. Instead, you improve. You grow, you succeed, and your greatest response to betrayal often becomes personal development. Emotional defense systems. Your strongest defense system is control, planning, preparation, analysis. But today's energy asks something important. Are you preparing for success or protecting yourself from disappointment? Because those are not the same thing. Today's money and success forecast. Virgo. Your professional energy is extremely strong today. In fact, this may be one of the most productive periods you've experienced recently, because your attention to detail is becoming an advantage. People notice your reliability, your discipline, your consistency, and those qualities are creating opportunities. Wealth, energy, financial growth surrounds Virgo today, not through shortcuts, through intelligent decisions, through preparation, through long-term thinking, which happens to be your specialty. Today favors budget planning, business decisions, career development, investments in skills, strategic thinking, career growth. Someone influential may notice your work soon. A manager, a client, a colleague. An opportunity could emerge because of efforts you've already made. And honestly, you may be closer to recognition than you realize, but there's something this sign still doesn't fully see yet. Your biggest limitation right now is not lack of ability, it's self-doubt. Success forecasts pursue education, professional growth, networking, planning, creative problem solving. Avoid burnout, perfectionism, overcommitting, and undervaluing your expertise. Because Virgo's success accelerates dramatically when confidence finally catches up with competence. Today's spiritual message: Virgo, the universe is teaching you trust. Not blind trust. Aligned trust. Trust in timing. Trust in growth. Trust in yourself for years. You have tried carrying the entire future on your shoulders, trying to predict outcomes, prevent mistakes, control uncertainty, but some lessons can only be learned through experience. Intuition and energy alignment. Your intuition is strong today, especially regarding people. If something feels off, pay attention. If something feels aligned, pay attention to that too. Your soul is becoming more sensitive to authenticity and less willing to tolerate emotional confusion. Manifestation energy. Virgo manifests most effectively through clear intention and consistent action. Not obsession, not worry, not perfectionism, consistency. And today, the universe is encouraging you to focus on progress rather than perfection. Soul lesson. Today's soul lesson is simple. You do not have to earn your worth. Read that again. Because many Virgos spend years trying to prove they deserve love, success, and recognition. But your worth existed long before your achievements, and the next message changes everything. The moment Virgo truly believes that life begins to feel much lighter. Today's emotional healing section: Virgo, you deserve peace. Not after you finish everything. Not after you solve every problem. Now, because peace is not a reward, it is a necessity. Overthinking, anxiety. Virgo minds rarely stop completely. You think ahead, prepare, analyze, plan. And while those qualities help you succeed, they can also exhaust you. Today's healing begins with letting go of what you cannot control. Heartbreak recovery. If you're healing from emotional pain, remember this: not every ending means failure. Some endings are protection, some endings are redirection, and some endings create space for something better. Inner child patterns. Many Virgo signs learned early that mistakes were unacceptable, so now you fear failure more than you should. But healing means understanding that imperfection is part of being human. Mental strength. Virgo possesses extraordinary resilience. You keep showing up, keep improving, keep growing, even when nobody notices. And honestly, that persistence will take you further than talent ever could. Today's 8 rankings for Virgo intelligence ranking: 9. 610. Virgo possesses one of the sharpest analytical minds in astrology. Your ability to solve problems and identify solutions is exceptional. Loyalty ranking: 9, 2/10. When Virgo commits emotionally, loyalty runs deep. Trust matters tremendously to you. Emotional intelligence ranking: 8, 8/10. You understand emotions well, though you sometimes analyze them more than you feel them. Attraction ranking: 8, 9/10. Virgo's intelligence, reliability, and quiet confidence create lasting attraction. Wealth potential ranking: 9, 3/10. Strong wealth potential through discipline, strategy, and long-term planning. Leadership ranking: 8, 7/10. Virgo leads through competence, organization, and reliability. Spiritual ranking: 8, 6/10. Your spiritual growth comes through self-awareness and learning to trust yourself. Overall destiny alignment: 9, 2/10. Virgo is entering a powerful period of personal growth, emotional healing, and professional advancement. Final message, Virgo: The version of you that constantly doubted yourself is beginning to fade. You're becoming more confident, more self-aware, more trusting of your intuition. And honestly, that transformation is long overdue because you've spent too much time carrying responsibilities that weren't yours, fixing problems that weren't yours, worrying about outcomes you couldn't control. But that chapter is ending. The next version of Virgo is not driven by fear. It is guided by wisdom, and very soon, you may discover that life becomes much easier when you stop trying to carry the entire world alone, because the universe was never asking you to be perfect. It was only asking you to be yourself.